academic history. This section is really important because this is where the UC will be able to evaluate your application. And in doing so, they need to know all the colleges that you have attended or will attend before enrolling at the UC, so that they can make a determination if you meet the criteria for minimum admission, competitive admission for your major. In this section, you'll be able to transfer the courses that you included in your transfer admission planner if you completed it. It looks like this. If so, go ahead and enter your login and the email address that you use for your TAP account and import data from your TAP account. A word of caution. Please make sure that if you do import your classes from your TAP, that you review your courses to make sure they transferred correctly. This past year, I had a student denied because he didn't include a very important class on his TAP. And when he transferred it over, he didn't review the courses and thus did not catch the original mistake. Thus, he was denied admission. However, we were able to appeal and show them the mistake from his transcripts, and the decision was overturned. However, it was very stressful for him and for everyone involved because at first we couldn't figure out why he was denied admission. Please note that it is not required to do a TAP account. So if you didn't do one, that's okay. Just click Save and Continue, and we will move on to the next section where you'll have an opportunity to add all your college courses. Before we can add your college courses, though, we have to include the last high school we attended. And in my case, in my example, I'm going to indicate that it was in California. However, if you attended high school outside of California, remember your last high school, or outside the U.S., go on ahead and include those options. You can search your school. In my case, I'm going to use Redlands High School as an example. Every now and then, students have a really hard time finding their high school. And if that's the case, you can use different things like College Board, searching for the school code, or you can even manually enter your school. Now, it's really important that you have your high school transcript in front of you as you're entering your start and end date or your last high school attended, just because when we work from memory, we can make mistakes, and you really don't want to make a mistake on any part of your UC application because it may jeopardize your admission. So go on ahead and try to dig that high school diploma up or that transcript so you can complete this section. Indicate whether you received a high school diploma, an IB diploma, or a GED from this school, or other, such as a high school exit examination, for example. Now, if adult school was the last school you attended and that's where you received your GED, go on ahead and make sure that you include the adult school as your last high school attended. When did you receive your degree, diploma, or certification from high school? Go on ahead and include that information here. And this question is really important. It's asking you if you attended any part of high school outside of the U.S., excluding a summer session or American, International, or Department of Defense high school experience. And let's just say that our example is yes. I attended part of high school in India. In that case, then, I have to choose the language of instruction. You have to be careful about this because in some foreign high schools, the language of instruction could be the language in which that is spoken in the country, or it could be English. I've had several students in which the language of instruction was English in the high school, although they were in a foreign country. So please make sure that you answer this question correctly. It is a really important question. Save and continue. All right, it's time to enter our college information. We're going to choose California. We're going to start with Crafton first. And again, just as in our example with our high school, we really need to have our college transcript in front of us. We don't want to work from memory. We want to make sure we enter the correct start and end date, and that we enter every class as it appears on our transcript. So take a moment to look for that transcript or print it out or have it in a separate window from your web advisor, but please make sure you're not working from memory. Enter your dates of attendance. In my case, my example is going to be that I started the fall term, which starts in August of 2018. Again, your transcript, if you look all the way to your right, it'll give you the month, day, and year of your very first semester that you started at Crafton. And my end date, although the year's not over, I plan to stay here at Crafton until December 2020 and be here for the fall 2020 semester. So I'm going to go ahead and indicate December because that's when the fall term ends. Is this your most current college? Yes, it is. And what is our grading system? It looks like the application already knows that we are on the A, B, C, D, F, and that we're not on the minus or on a different type of grading system. And during your attendance, did the college's term system change? In our case, no. Crafton has always been semester and it has not changed. So we're going to indicate semester. Now, if you attended like Riverside Community College, they may be semester with winter intersession, but at Crafton, we just have fall, spring, and summer semesters, no winter session. Then it's going to provide you a list of terms from the year that you started at Crafton all the way to the year that you're ending. And it's going to give you terms, and you're going to check whether you attended or not, again, based on your transcript. Let's just say that I didn't attend summer of 2019. Then I will uncheck that. In my case, I did. So I want to check it off because I want to be able to input courses in that term. And did you receive a diploma from Crafton? Yes or no? You have the option of an associate for transfer or just a regular Crafton associate. If you received a certificate, you could put that there if you want, and then you would indicate here the certificate that you received. Maybe you did, the firefighting certificate or any other type of certificate, you would include that there. And the month and year that you will receive your diploma or that you've already received it. Save and continue. So after you have entered Crafton, please take a moment to enter all the other colleges or universities that you have attended. You have to include all colleges and universities wherever you have any kind of record. Even if you took courses for one semester and you withdrew all of them, well, you still have to indicate that because you have a transcript with W's from that college. And so that has to be included in here. Check off, I finished adding colleges. Once you have done that, and we'll move on to entering all of our courses. We are going to use Crafton as an example of how to enter your college courses and grades, but you can basically apply this information to the other colleges you've attended as well. At a quick glance, you can see that after I've entered all my courses, it should look identical to your Crafton transcript. It should include the department, the course number, the title, the units, and the grade for every course and every term you've attended. If you failed the course, you need to go ahead and indicate that in as well. If you did pass, no pass, if you have academic renewal on your transcript, if you withdrew the class, so just as it appears in your transcript. In my case, I am still in summer school. One of my courses has posted, but the other one hasn't. And so make sure that if you're still in progress of the class, there is the option to do in progress. And because I stated that I'm going to be here through the end of the fall term, then I also have to indicate the courses that I plan on taking in the fall. It's okay that I perhaps haven't enrolled for them yet, but this is what you plan to take in the fall, so it should also be included in its PL for planned. You will also see that I took one semester at San Bernardino Valley College and took one course and included that information here as well. When entering courses, it is always easiest to start with your very first term that you attended and then move towards the present. In my example, I'm going to start with summer 2018. And as you can see here, we have grade codes, academic renewal, in progress, pass, withdraw, unauthorized, which at Crafton we do not have this, so I don't think you will probably see that on your transcript. We have credit, no credit, withdraw failure. Again, I don't think Crafton uses these. I haven't seen them in any transcripts. Excuse withdrawal, no pass, or regular withdrawal. Now at Crafton, you will see this just as a W, but here in the UC application, it's WI. Incomplete and planned, as well as all of our letter grades. So let's just say that my very first semester, I took a history course, History 100. Yep, that's the one I took. And can't see it on the screen, but I got an A in that course. So I love history. And I also took a math 095 class, intermediate algebra. You will notice that you do not see any course lower than 100. You will also see that the only courses listed are what the UC system determines as transferable. If the class is not listed here, for example, Math 103, it is because the UC system does not deem that course UC transferable. So what do you do in this case? I took a course, and the instructions are that every course I took has to be included in it on the application just as it appears on my transcript. Well, what you want to do is scroll to the bottom, and you should have this little checkbox, I don't see my courses. And this is where you will include the Math 095 course that's on your transcript. I believe the title is Intermediate Algebra. And according to my transcript, it's 4 units. And I struggled in that class, but I made it with a B. You will add as many courses as you need to that are not listed here in the application because, again, it has to look identical. That's all I took my summer. I took a history and an intermediate algebra course. Save and continue. So ideally, it should move you through every term that you indicated that you enrolled at Crafton, and you want to keep doing the same. For fall 2018, in my example, I took Biology 100, got a B in it. I took English 101, got an A. Japanese 101, and college algebra. And political science, but I didn't do very good in political science honors. And that's it. Save and continue. Notice that all my courses that I took are UC transferable, and therefore they were listed here. Save and continue and move on semester by semester. This is a quick reminder that you must also include the courses you are currently enrolled in this example, summer 2020. I am currently enrolled in Economics 200 as well. And you also need to include the courses that you have planned for any remaining and upcoming terms while you are at the community college. This is important because by you adding your and your planned courses, they'll be able to count those towards your 60 units and the minimum requirements. But if you don't include in progress or planned courses, the UC will assume that you're not taking courses, and you may be in danger of falling under the 60 units and therefore not meeting minimum admission requirements and not being eligible for admission. So please make sure you add your in progress as well as your planned courses. Okay, so you are done entering all your classes for Crafton and all the other colleges or universities that you have attended. You will see that a complete history is available for you, or review, I should say. And it should look identical to your transcripts from Crafton, including every course that is transferable and non-transferable, as well as courses that you have possibly failed or received academic renewal for. If you don't know what academic renewal is, please make an appointment with your counselor so they can explain it and let you know whether you qualify for it. And most of the time, it's a great benefit to students. If it looks accurate, continue on to the next section. In order to be considered for admission, the UC system has what they call minimum requirements. But this section is a little bit misleading. Let me explain. UC requires that students complete the 7-course pattern with grades of C or better. And in our example, we took 2 writing courses that satisfy their writing requirement. There's other courses that could be included here as well, but based on how we entered our courses, these are the 2 courses from our application. They're automatically put here because they meet the writing and English composition. You're also required to have 1 college level math and 4 courses in at least 2 different subject areas. And those are the arts and humanities, behavioral sciences, physical biological science. And if you have met this area, this is what it looks like. If you don't, I believe it does have red writing underneath it, indicating that you have not met this area. So that's a 7-course pattern. You must also have 60 units and at least a 2.4. Those are the minimum requirements. But you will see here a question on prior to transfer, will you have satisfied the entry-level requirement? This basically is letting you know that you need to have 2 courses completed in writing, which you do based on this. Prior to transfer, will you be certified for completion of IGETC? And that is the GE pattern that looks like this. This is IGETC. It's colors based on the year that you entered Crafton, but it basically has the same title here. I get you. So this question is a bit misleading because most of the UC campuses do not require you to have IGETC completed in order to be considered for admission, with the exception of some programs for UC Berkeley and UC Riverside School of Business. Otherwise, the other campuses don't require it. That's why I indicated that this is a little bit misleading when you see minimum requirements, unless it is, again, for some programs at Berkeley and UC Riverside School of Business. Otherwise, it's okay to say, no, I will not have IGETC completed prior to transfer if, in fact, you're not going to be able to complete it by the time you transfer. Save and continue so we can move on to the additional information. In this section, the UC is asking additional questions to get a full picture of your academic history. The first question is, have you ever been on academic probation? If the answer is yes, that's okay. Don't worry. Lots of students have been on academic probation, either at the community college or their former university, and were able to transfer just fine. If the answer is yes, they want to know if you were on academic probation at any other school other than the University of California. And if the answer is yes, they want you to list the names of the school. If the answer is no, then you can just move on to the next section. UC transfer pathway. What is that? When you follow the website, you will see that the UC campus has 21 transfer pathways. And if you, for example, follow the business administration pathway and you completed microeconomics, macro, single variable calculus, the 1-year sequence, and statistics, introduction to business, financial accounting, and managerial accounting. So if you completed all these courses, then the UC system deems you to have completed a UC pathway, and therefore you can apply that pathway as meeting all the requirements at UC Irvine for this major, business administration, at Berkeley, at Riverside, business management economics at Santa Cruz, this major at UC Merced, and this major at Davis. Now, you have completed a pathway, and therefore you've completed all the courses for that major at this campus, but the campuses are going to have different GPA requirements. So perhaps you have a 3.0, and that may be, sufficient at UC Riverside, but you may need a higher GPA to get into UC Berkeley. And so make sure that you're aware of that. Talk to your counselor. Either way, if you completed a UC pathway and you didn't know about it, congratulations, because that just means that you have other opportunities for admission in order to get into the UC campus. If you didn't complete a UC transfer pathway, that's okay. You don't have to. It's not required. Okay, so additional comments. This is the area where you're going to have an opportunity to explain any part of your academic history that you feel needs explaining. So let me give you an example. Let's just say that one semester you had to withdraw all your classes you enrolled in. You had a car accident, and therefore, or even personal problems, a tough 6 months, and you just were not able to concentrate for whatever reason, and you withdrew all your classes. Hey, life happens to all of us, right? They understand that. You have the option of explaining it here in as much or little detail as you want. You only have about 400 characters, I believe, about 400 characters. So, which is, including, every letter is a character, every space is a character. So you don't have a lot of room, but you have the option of explaining that if you want to, if you feel led to. Another example that they included here is a break in attendance, poor grades in a particular course or year, specific information about your school environment or policies that may be affecting your academic record. The example we used here is the pandemic. Even though everyone knows that we all had to switch to online, this could be an area where you could further explain that if you want to. So those are just some examples for international applicants. A good use of this space is to explain your school's grading system. Outside of the U.S., there's just different grading systems that we're not familiar with, and it'd be good to explain that. Even within the U.S., there's some schools that don't use, the traditional A, B, C, D, F format. They use a paragraph to explain what your grade or how you did in the class. And so that would also be a good example. Save and continue. And wow, we did it. Wait, no, we didn't. We have to go back and fix some things, right? So according to this, we have to fix this area. And that is, are you now or have you ever been academic probation in either school in California? Please select yes and enter the school's name. Okay, fine. San Bernardino Valley College, let's just say. See if that fixes it. Of course, in your case, you're going to want to make sure that it's accurate, right? But that was just an example of that. If there are errors in your application, the UC is pretty good about catching those. A quick review, everything looks good. You've carefully gone through all the courses you've included and matched them with your actual transcripts. You meet the 7-course pattern, and you are done. Congratulations. This is probably the heaviest section of the application, a very important section. We're going to continue on to test scores. Yay! Good job.